with me. They're part of our, they are our R&D team, and both manage our tour operations as well. And we want to spend the bulk of the time going over the new TD driver, because what this has allowed us to do as a company is it's completed Kim's system, fitting system. Every shaft he's ever created has been for fitting. And now we are capable of fitting an entire bag of clubs for golfers. From the driver all the way down through to the putter, you can be fitting a KBS product. I'm going to let Kim get into the details, but the TD is predominantly will be the most centrist product in his driver line as it evolves. Kim, I'm just going to let you. We have limited time, so I'm going to let Kim get into the meat and potatoes of the shaft, the design, and the concept.
Good morning. What the TD is, this is basically this is our KBS Tour wood shaft. This is the shaft that's going to fit the most people, and it is very, very, very much like our KBS Tour, which is our most popular iron shaft in terms of fitting. Everything that we do from now on will be a variation off of this. This is going to be our kind of our meat and potato shaft. It's going to be the one, again, that's going to fit the most people. And what we did was we got rid of the flexes. We put them in categories, and the categories were based on, you know, I know swing speed's not everything in terms of fitting, but it's a good place to start. What we do is we have, TK does a lot of our, he does a great deal of our testing as far as gathering data and working with different players. We live in Scottsdale, so he's a member up at Whisper Rock, and so we have access to lots of players. And what we've done with these shafts is we've just optimized them. We've optimized them to the swing speeds that are listed up there. And I mean, I'm sure there's some fitters here, and again, swing speed's not everything, but it does give you a good place to start. And you know, again, we're all about fitting. Every shaft that is in the KBS system is there for a reason. It's not just, we don't design shafts and hope that they are successful. We know what it is before we design it. We have a target. We're trying to achieve something. It's higher launch, higher spin, lower launch, whatever that may happen to be. We always have a target for every product that we produce. And again, it's always been about fitting. My father invented frequency matching in 1977, so I've been involved with, I didn't really know back then that we were fitting people. You know, we were just trying to put them in the best shaft that we could. But anyway, so I've been involved in the fitting thing for a long time. I wish I had a shaft. This shaft is designed using the same principles I use with steel. This particular shaft has in terms of the way the EI looks, each section is a percentage of the, in terms of stiffness, it's equal throughout. Each, as the shaft, from the butt to the tip, each section would be linearly weaker. So if you measure 2 inches, it may be whatever that would be. The next section would be up 2 or 3% weaker, 2 or 3% weaker, 2 or 3% weaker, 2 or 3% weaker, so that once the shaft gets loaded, it's nothing to get in the way of it loading and unloading. Very, very similar to what we do with our steel shafts. So I basically use the same formulas that I use in steel with the graphite. So, you know, initially we weren't real sure what was going to happen when we went to graphite, so we kept in our lane. We came out first with a hybrid shaft, wanting to know, really learning how it works, going from the steel to the graphite, and that shaft was extremely successful. Then we went into the irons. The irons again was did very, very well. So that got us into the driver. And our driver's been on tour for a month or so now. We already had a win. Guys like Phil Mickelson, Gary Woodland, Sabatini won with it. You know, it's starting to get some legs, and we're real proud of it. This is one product I will say that did. You know, you design something with something in mind, and you know that's what you're going after. In this particular product, I will say that it's better than even I had thought it would be. This one here really, I would say. I mean, I'm not saying that we were super surprised how well it performed, but it didn't require any. A lot of times when you do stuff, you have to go back and forth a few times before you get it just right. We nailed it first time, and anyway, we're really proud of it. Are there any questions?
What's the pound column?
What's the what?
The pound column. Pound sign?
Yeah, that's frequencies. From category 1 to category 5, they're progressively stiffer. They did put the TX, XS, and all that kind of crap up there. That's not going to be on the shaft bands or anything. I really, you know, those letters don't mean anything anymore, so we're going to get rid of them. But that's kind of, I guess that's up there just to give you an idea.
In relation?
Yeah. It's pretty vague because one guy's TX is not the same as the next, and you know, even within our own product line, we have stiff shafts that are weaker than some regulars in other categories, and it's just the way it is. Again, if I had my way, we wouldn't have RSs on anything, but the OEMs want to have an RS on something that's on the rack. They feel that's necessary in order to sell it. You know, when you start talking about categories, now people will have something else they have to talk about. So, you know, in that regard, it's difficult to change. But you know, as far as the fitters go, they like this because it takes away the ego. You know, there's you know, what difference does it matter? You know, but anyway, it allows for people to that fall into an R category that think they're an S to be able to swing something that actually fits them, and they don't have to get, you know, too concerned about what the letter, you know, what the letter is on that particular shaft.
These are only going to be available to OEMs in custom. They are not going. You're not going to see them on the rack. They're only going to be made available to the OEMs in custom. Right now, we're focusing on the.
Can you sit down on the microphone, please?
These are only going to be available to OEMs through their custom programs. They're not going to be a on-the-rack option to them. For the unforeseeable future, that's the direction we're going to take with this brand of shaft, is to only make it available to fitters and to custom programs for the OEMs. So they can put it in their custom programs, be it standard custom or exotic custom, but that's how it's going to be sold into the OEMs.
What's the price point on that?
It's very good. It retails at $350. It retails at $350.
Hey, Jim, you said obviously swing speed is not a perfect way to fit everybody, but looking at category 3 and 4 is a pretty tight window. We're batting 8 miles an hour, yet in category 2 is almost double that. Is that simply skew management, or does something happen at a lower swing speed that allows you to have a wider swath there?
I'll take this one, I guess. We can create the shaft in the category 5, reason being at 110 miles an hour. Once we start to tip that thing, we can get it up to about 9.0 to 10.0, which that's what Gary's playing at a 2.5-inch inch tip. We don't want to tip it more than 2.5 inches. We just don't want to. We want to protect the integrity of the shaft. Once you start getting to that parallel section, that's about as far as we want to go. And once it gets above 9.0, we haven't found anybody out off the tour.
Yeah, I'm more interested at the low end.
The low end,
Category 2.
that
Why a 20-mile-an-hour area that you're fitting when the others are tighter than that?
Category 4 is 8.
The lower categories had a greater, when we were doing our testing, we had a greater, when we do this, we do a lot of testing with it, and for and this always happens. In the lower categories, we find that there's a wider window of shafts that fit the people. When you get up to the faster swing speeds, that's when it gets a little bit tighter in terms of being able to actually get the shaft in the right mode and impact. So the more load, the faster. We have found historically, empirically through all these years, that when we get to the stiffer frequencies, the higher frequencies, the target becomes tighter in terms of who it is that we're designing these things for. And I think it's simply a it's just not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, people with faster swing speed tend to be better players, and with that amount of pressure and that amount of load, it just gets a lot tighter in terms of what works for people. Where in the slower swing speeds, it's just a wider group of people that can be fit within that category.
Thank you all. If you have any further questions, we'll be out at the range of the table there, and you can ask Kim and TK any questions you got. Thanks for your time.